Hello everyone, and welcome back to our journey through Genesis. It's great to have you with us again. Today we arrive at chapter 23, a chapter that is deeply moving and incredibly significant. It deals with themes of love, loss, and legacy, all centered around the end of a remarkable life, the life of Sarah. After all the travels, the promises, the trials, and the triumphs, Sarah, Abraham's beloved wife, passes away at the age of 127 in Kirjath Arba, which we know today as Hebron. The Bible tells us that Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. Can you imagine the depth of his grief? This wasn't just the loss of a spouse. It was the end of a partnership that had spanned a century, a journey of faith that had defined both of their lives. From Ur to Haran to Egypt and through the land of Canaan, they had been together. Now Abraham stands alone. His weeping is a powerful human moment. It reminds us that even the greatest figures of faith experience profound sorrow. Grief is a natural and necessary part of love. Abraham doesn't hide his pain. He embraces it. It's a testament to the deep love he had for Sarah. His first act after her death is not one of despair, but one of honor. He needs to find a proper, permanent resting place for his wife. So, Abraham rises from his mourning and goes to speak to the Hittites, the sons of Heth, who lived in that land. He approaches them with great humility, saying, "I am a foreigner and a sojourner among you." Think about that for a second. This is the man to whom God promised this entire land. Yet at this moment, he doesn't own a single piece of it. He has no claim, no title, no deed. He is a stranger, respectfully asking for a small piece of ground to bury his wife. This highlights an incredible aspect of Abraham's faith. He lived his life based on a promise, not on possession. He trusted God's word completely, even when the physical evidence seemed to say otherwise. He wasn't a conqueror demanding territory. He was a humble pilgrim seeking a simple favor. The Hittites respond with incredible respect and generosity. They see Abraham not just as a foreigner, but as a mighty prince among us. They tell him, "None of us will withhold from you his tomb to bury your dead." They offer him the choicest of their burial places, completely free of charge. This is a beautiful display of hospitality and honor toward a grieving man and his respected wife. It shows the kind of reputation Abraham had built among his neighbors. He was known for his integrity and his standing with God. But Abraham has a specific place in mind. He bows down before the people of the land, another sign of his humility, and asks them to intercede on his behalf with a man named Ephron the Hittite. Abraham wants to buy a particular piece of property, the cave of Machpelah, which is at the end of Ephron's field. He is very clear. "Let him give it to me for the full price as a possession for a burial place among you." Notice Abraham's insistence on paying the full price. The Hittites had offered him a burial plot for free, but Abraham doesn't want a gift. He wants to purchase it. Why is this so important? Because a gift can be taken back. A temporary arrangement can be changed. But a purchase, a legal transaction with a clear title, is permanent. Abraham is not just thinking about Sarah. He is thinking about the future. He is establishing a permanent foothold, a legal claim to a piece of the promised land. This burial site would become an anchor for his family, a tangible piece of their inheritance for generations to come. Ephron, the owner of the field, is present in the assembly at the city gate, which was the place for all legal and business transactions back then. He hears Abraham's request and responds in a very grand public way. He says, "No, my lord, hear me. I give you the field, and I give you the cave that is in it. In the presence of the sons of my people, I give it to you. Bury your dead." On the surface, this sounds even more generous than the initial offer. Ephron is offering not just the cave, but the entire field as well, all for free. It seems like an incredible act of kindness. However, in the ancient Near Eastern culture of bargaining, this was often a negotiation tactic. By making such a lavish public offer, Ephron is setting the stage. It puts Abraham in a position where refusing the gift and insisting on paying makes him look even more honorable, while also setting a very high expectation for the price. Abraham, a skilled and wise man, understands the cultural dance of negotiation. He bows again and insists on paying. He says, If you will only listen to me, I will give the price of the field. Accept it from me, that I may bury my dead there." He is firm. This must be a clean, legal purchase. This is when Ephron names his price, and he does it in a clever way. He says, "My lord, listen to me. A piece of land worth 400 shekels of silver, what is that between you and me? Bury your dead." By saying, "What is that between you and me?" he's downplaying the amount, making it sound like a small, insignificant sum between friends. But in reality, 400 shekels of silver was an enormous amount of money for a plot of land at that time. To give you some perspective, the prophet Jeremiah later buys a field for only 17 shekels of silver. This was an incredibly high price. But what is Abraham's response? He doesn't haggle. He doesn't complain or try to bargain Ephron down. The text simply says, "Abraham listened to Ephron, and Abraham weighed out for Ephron the silver that he had named in the hearing of the sons of Heth. 400 shekels of silver, according to the weights current among the merchants." He immediately agrees and pays the full exorbitant price. Why? Because the value of that land was not just in its soil or its cave. Its value was in what it represented: a permanent memorial for Sarah, a place of belonging for his family, and the first piece of the promised land that would legally belong to his descendants. To Abraham, honoring his wife and securing this legacy was priceless. The money was secondary. So, the deal is finalized. The Bible gives us the legal details, almost like reading a modern property deed. The field of Ephron in Machpelah, the cave, and all the trees in the field, its entire boundary, were made over to Abraham as a possession. This was all done publicly, in the presence of the sons of Heth, before all who went in at the gate of his city. There were witnesses. It was an official, legally binding transfer of ownership. Abraham had finally secured a piece of the land God had promised him so many years before. It wasn't a kingdom. It wasn't a city. It was a tomb. And isn't that profound? The first piece of the promised land that the patriarchs would own was a place of death, which ultimately symbolized a promise of future life and resurrection. After the transaction is complete, Abraham buries Sarah, his wife, in the cave of the field of Machpelah. His mission is accomplished. He has honored his beloved wife with a permanent and dignified resting place. This cave would go on to become the family tomb. Abraham himself would be buried there, as would Isaac and Rebekah, and Jacob and Leah. It became a sacred place, a physical link connecting the generations to God's promise and to the land he had given them. So, as we close this chapter, what can we take away? We see the depth of human love and grief in Abraham. We see incredible faith that trusts in a promise even without possession. We see the importance of acting with integrity and humility, even when you are a mighty prince. And we see a beautiful picture of legacy, how one act of love and foresight can create an anchor for generations to come. Abraham's purchase was more than just a real estate deal. It was an act of faith that planted his family, his roots deep into the soil of God's promise. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore this powerful chapter. It's a somber story, but one filled with hope and profound lessons about faith, love, and legacy. I hope it's given you something to reflect on. If you found this video meaningful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into the stories of the Bible. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next episode. I love reading your thoughts, so please leave a comment below and share what stood out to you in this chapter. Until next time, take care and God bless.